Hi, welcome to mywealth.com. I'm Mike Conlon. I'm one of the senior instructors with the courses. Welcome to today's blog. Today's blog is entitled, I'll Huff and I'll Puff and I'll Re-inflate This Economy. President Obama as the big bad wolf. Okay, under normal circumstances, if you told me that the equity markets would be up some 30% this year off their lows, and it was a bad thing, I'd say you were crazy. Yet, here we are. Last week, I wrote an article about how investors should stop kind of questioning the rally and stop trying to fight the Fed, but now this is starting to get a little bit silly. Okay, on Monday, the consumer confidence numbers came out, and they were surprisingly good. Our own Bob O'Brien wrote a great article on this phenomenon and why we should be a bit skeptical of it. Okay, so it got me thinking about one of my favorite fairy tales from my childhood, The Three Little Pigs. Okay, I suppose it's not a good thing when you compare your country's economy to a fairy tale, but if the shoe fits, as they say. So for those unfamiliar with the story of the Three Little Pigs, there's three little pigs, and the first one builds a house out of straw, the second one builds a house out of sticks, and the third one builds a house out of bricks. Okay, then along comes the big bad wolf, and he wants to eat the pigs, so he tries to coax them out of the house. When he can't do that, he ends up blowing down the first house, the house of straw, and he eats the little pig. When he gets to the second house, the house of sticks, same story. He can't coax the pig out, so he blows down the house of sticks and ends up eating the little pig. When he gets to the third house, the house of bricks, he's not able to coax the pig out, but he's also not able to blow down the house of bricks. Okay, so after a while, he decides he's going to get a little bit sneaky, and he decides to go down the chimney, where inevitably he ends up landing in a pot of boiling water, where he ends up meeting his demise. So how does this relate to our economy today? Let's take a look.
As always, be sure to check out the written blog at www.mywealth.com/blog. Now, the story of the Three Little Pigs was written sometime in the mid-1800s, but I'd like you to fast forward with me a bit here to 2009 and grant me a little bit of poetic license. The reason I thought of this analogy was because the way I see it, the three biggest problems in our economy are analogous to the Three Little Pigs. Okay, now the first little pig is the banks and the investment banks, who had to go through the stress tests earlier this year and were forced to take TARP money to survive because some of their losses were so ridiculously large that they would have failed otherwise. Okay, the second little pig is the automakers like Ford and GM and Chrysler, whose unions and pension plans have become so bloated that they can no longer compete profitably and are now either already in or they're facing bankruptcy or some other sort of restructuring. Okay, and finally, the third little pig is the housing market, whose prices had been pushed so high by speculators, unqualified buyers, and unsuspecting consumers alike that the inevitable deleveraging and price deflation may be too much for the economy to bear. Okay, so what does this mean for the economy? Well, as we have seen, President Obama has blown down the first two houses, and he's eaten the little pigs, so to speak. Okay, the banks have had terms dictated to them about what they can and can't do under the TARP program, and automakers, like we said before, are moving towards bankruptcy and restructuring as well. Okay, but he's now having a problem with the third little pig, just like the story goes. So don't wait. Get educated, get in a course, come to www.mywealth.com.
So far, all of President Obama's huffing and puffing has not been able to budge the housing market higher. So what they decided to do is they decided to be a little bit sneaky, and instead of going down the chimney, they're offering folks the $8,000 housing credit to try and entice the pigs to come out. Okay, and as the story goes, the pig does not end up coming out, and the big bad wolf ends up in hot water. Now, let's hope that President Obama remembers the story like I do, and he decides to leave the third pig alone. Okay, then maybe housing prices can truly bottom, and those responsible enough to have not participated in the housing bubble/crisis will be rewarded. Okay, now that would be a fairy tale I can believe in. All right, so don't wait. Get to mywealth.com. Check out our investing course. It's only $25, and it can really help you understand some of the themes that are going on in the world today, and how you can benefit from them. So I'm Mike Conlon. Thanks for being with me, and I hope to see you in the courses.